Pizza's been getting a really bad rap lately with the whole Pizzagate thing. Slanderous rumours about high-profile American politicians using pizza as code words for really bad things. The only good thing about this is that pizza is actually relatively innocent in the whole affair, which is great because pizza is one of my favourite foods of all time. I make beautiful pizza, and today's video is going to be the first in a series where I take you into my kitchen where I make my favourite foods, and today we're going to focus on making pizza great again. The first thing you want to do for making a really great pizza is to make the sponge. The purpose of the sponge is to promote growth for the yeast, which is the rising agent in the pizza dough, and it's basically like a kindergarten for the dough. Like all kindergartens, it needs to be warm, and it needs 3 tablespoons of flour and 6 tablespoons of warm water. Once these are mixed together, the temperature will normalise a little bit towards 40 degrees Celsius or lower. If it's any hotter than this, it'll be too hot for the yeast and it will end up dying. Now it's time to add the yeast. I've used dried active yeast, not bread maker's yeast, and the measurement for perfect dough is 15 grams, or roughly a tablespoon. Mix up the sponge and cover it with some cling wrap for about 30 minutes, or until it doubles in size. This will give you enough time to maybe watch some YouTube. There are a few great suggestions for you if you don't know where to start. Let me just say, the reason I love making my own dough is because it's not only relatively easy, as you can see in this video, but it's also really cheap. I'll pop in the approximate cost of what it cost me to make this dough as I rattle off all the ingredients. This is what you want the sponge to look like, by the way, before you start mixing in everything else. So to the sponge I add 2.5 more cups of plain white flour, bringing the total to 3 cups in the dough. I choose to use Pam's high grade white flour, which is about $7 for 5 kgs. I add a tablespoon of oil, pure olive oil from Pam's, which is about $10 a litre. And I add 3/4 of a cup of lukewarm water, which is free. And I make sure that that's around about the same temperature as I added to the sponge to just help promoting the growth there. In this I've also added a teaspoon of salt, and I gently mix that together. All up, this is costing me just over $2 for 2 to 3 pizza bases, depending on what size I go for, as opposed to the cheapest and nastiest pre-cooked bases, which come in a 3-pack for about $3.50. So if you eat pizza for every meal a day for a whole year, you'd save $1,620.06, which is about quarter of the cost of a standard liposuction treatment. Once the dough is pretty firmly mixed together, it's time to get to the kneading process. When you start, your dough's going to look a bit huckery. Don't be tempted to add any water or oil at this point, or any extra flour. You just need to work through it at first to get a feel for what it's going to be like. Basically you just press and fold and repeat. You're meant to do this for about 10 minutes until the dough is silky and smooth. I normally reach my desired consistency after about 5 minutes of kneading. If the dough is sticking too much to your work surface or your hands, add a slight dusting of flour until it is workable. If it feels too dry, just stick with it and you will get there. You can also use the exact same outcome with minimal effort if you have a mixer with a dough hook. It takes about the same amount of time, but you might find that you're adding more flour to it, which will change the consistency of the dough at the end, and it will be a bit firmer and more chewy when you get to finally eat it. When it's reaching the desired consistency, you should be able to throw it down on the bench and see it bounce back into its original shape. And once it gets to this point, it is ready for proofing. Don't be afraid to slam it around, it loves it. Take out some aggression, some pent up anger, really earn that pizza that you're about to eat. To proof it, just set it aside in the original container that you used. You can use a new container if you want. Hey, it just means more dishes at the end of the day. I'm not gonna stop you from doing that, or say that that's not a bad idea or a good idea. Basically, you do what you want. I'm not controlling you secretly. The shortest amount of time that this should be is at least half an hour. I tend to try and give my dough an hour before using it, as a preference. Especially because this gives you more time to watch more YouTube. Here are some further recommendations. Once it's proven itself, it's time to roll it out. There's a very simple formula to know how much dough exactly to use for your pan. I have a 30cm pan, and I'm using about 300 grams of pizza dough. Do you get the formula yet? It's pretty simple. pinch out the dough as much as you can. Pinching it is better for the molecular structure thing. Science! Yeah, if you go straight in and roll it, you'll notice it bounces back a lot more and it sticks to the bench too much. Pinching it is the traditional way to get the pizza dough to shape. Apparently in traditional pizza making, using a rolling pin is just fully forbidden. Pinch it out until it's about half the space of the pan that you'll be using, and then start to roll it until it's round. You can try to chuck it if you want to try and look cool. It does nothing except put holes in the douche. I mean dough. I wrote douche in my script. Oh fuck. That's funny. You can fix any holes that you put in the dough just by pinching it back together. And here you go. It is a uncooked pizza base. No more $3 pizza bases from the supermarket for you. It's that easy. Let's see that again, just one more time, just to help it sink in. Roll it into a ball. Nice and silky, smooth. Adjust your camera. Keep rolling it. Slam it on the bench, and then pinch it out into a discus shape. Just really work that dough out that way. Give a nice dusting on your surface, on your work area, on both sides. And then you start pinching it until it's about half the size of the pan that you're going to use to cook it on. And that's when you bring the rolling pin to the game and start rolling that bad boy out. Once that's all done, you can finally make a pizza. Yay for you! You can put on whatever you want. You know, you could even put in pineapple if you want. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not here to judge. You know, it's completely up to you what kind of life decisions you want to make and how badly you want to screw yourself up there. So, you know, don't say I didn't warn you. Technically, I didn't, but you know, I'm not even judging. You can do what you want there. What I've done is I've chucked some smoky chipotle relish, some mushroom, capsicum, red onion, chorizo, jalapenos, sour cream, cashews, and some cheese on that bad boy. And let me tell you, this is probably one of the best pizzas I've made today. Anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe. Next time in the kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make my special brownie. So if that looks like something that interests you, click that subscribe button and stay up to date. If you want to see food that I've already prepared, click on this video to catch a glimpse of the amazing drip cake that my wife and I made for my friend Dylan for his stag do / birthday party. That was a good time. That was a good cake. That was awesome. Cheers for watching.